In the wake of World War II, America reorganized its military structure and air power, leading to the establishment of the Air Force in 1947. In 1949, years of advocacy by leaders such as Major General Malcolm Grow, the first Air Force Surgeon General, culminated in the foundation of an independent Air Force medical service. Barely a year would pass before the nascent service was thrust into battle for the very first time. In June of 1950, North Korean troops invaded South Korea, launching the U.S. and its UN allies into the Korean War. At the time, Far East Air Forces had fewer than 200 medical officers across all corps and no hospitals in the region. UN and U.S. casualties mounted fast in the early days of the war, and it became abundantly clear that the AFMS would need to expand and develop quickly to rise to this challenge. At the outbreak of the war, ground and sea transport was still the preferred method of patient evacuation for many military medical leaders. In 1950, General William Tunner directed his staff to study how to improve air transport as an option to evacuate troops. This technique, termed aeromedical evacuation, would become the primary method of troop evacuation. As the AFMS rose to new heights, it also underwent a dramatic expansion. By the end of 1951, the number of doctors and nurses in the Far East Air Forces had increased almost sevenfold. Ultimately, its ranks would swell to just under 1,000 medical officers. Air Force medical facilities worldwide more than doubled, from 73 to 180 by the end of the war. The ramp-up was accompanied by a series of innovations in the fields of patient care and transportation. Helicopters were incorporated into aeromedical evacuation, speeding along the process of frontline rescue. C-47s and C-54s went to the forefront of battle, braving active fire to evacuate troops. In a resounding success, these innovations, along with advances in antibiotics and surgical techniques, reduced the casualty rate by 50% when compared to World War II. Air transport blazed a legacy during the war, with the 801st Medical Evacuation Squadron evacuating more than 301,000 sick and wounded within the theater, and the Military Air Transport Service returning more than 43,000 evacuees to the U.S. By the end of 1953, an Army-Air Force agreement formally recognized the Air Force's responsibility in the Armed Forces evacuation system. The legacy of AFMS achievements during the Korean War is enduring. In addition to proving the true worth of aeromedical evacuation, the conflict led to vital innovations in air-transportable hospitals, field operations, and patient care, which were built upon for decades to come. The AFMS met the challenge of the Korean War and established itself at the forefront of military medicine, where it remains to this day.